galaxy in Confero. Hope you know 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is a road. Are we freedom, jealous and in Cuba? Russians and Chinese and lucky like we. Iran and North Korea wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Studio Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Democracy in Spice Isles is alive and well. Ask you questions, sing and beat you drum. Make you suggestions, encourage them on to walk the straight and narrow in the land. Politics, religion and economic issue, regional, international, spiritual issues too. Agricultural, environmental and trending to subject matter. We fear none, we back down. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the land. God, we freedom, jealous and they in Cuba. Russians and Chinese and love.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to the second part of our program on Saturday. You're in Studio Galaxy 473 in Confer. And remember, the second part of our program are always pure politics. And today, I somewhat encourage Joshua to stay in the house with me. You need some guidance, some level of spiritual guidance here. And Joshua has a name. And when his parents make him, they had that intention that he'd stay within the arms of Christianity. So Joshua is around with me. That help guide me. We speak in pure politics. And the topic today, DPM, is leading the extremists in Grenada. We need to be careful. We had a new political party launch led by Peter David. And in my opinion, this political party is leading the extremists in Grenada. We need to be careful. I realize, and I was told very early in my life, we don't seem to follow logic in Grenada. But I know a number of the remnants of the extreme in Grenada. This is the last chance, the last hope. They're thirsty for vengeance and blood. And Peter David is leading that group. Peter David have a high survival factor. He has been in the revolution and have had a leading position in the revolution. He have been in the NDC. He have been in the NNP. He has found himself unable to dominate none of the political parties before. So he has no choice now. Peter David is in the forefront of the political extreme in Grenada. And remember, I said DPM, the Democratic Political Movement, is leading the extreme. Peter David is a Trojan horse. He's been used. He's a front. People like Peter. Peter could sell, so they support Peter. But the real McCoy, the real conmen, are behind Peter. They are dangerous, they're deadly, and they're thirsty for blood. It is also a fact that Eric Gary was seen as a peasant, and the top echelon and the remnant of the plantocracy couldn't stand it. Kit Mitchell was a peasant. His mother was a vendor, and his father was a farmer. They couldn't stand Kit. And Emlyn Pierre is a peasant. Tillman Thomas was a peasant. When these forces in the NDC had to choose Tillman Thomas as a leader, they were very contemplative, because they were worried that Tillman Thomas is a peasant. So we have a group of extremists in Grenada now. The last remnant of the petty bourgeoisie, the plantocracy. Those who did not hesitate to execute their own people in the palace coup. And Peter David is just a front. He's just the face. The real authority is behind Peter David. They would say anything. They would do anything. Is the last transport for San Fernando. Joshua, you with me? And I know it might be interesting for you to hear some of the things that I have to say. But I think it's important that you hear with me.
Yeah, well, it certainly is interesting because I have, my own views about things and how things are going. And there are several things that you say that resonate with me. I mean, Peter David is very likable. I like Peter David. Nothing wrong with Peter. Peter has been in both party. And I think what's fair to say is that he really has not left an impact on either party in terms of governance, in terms of achievement, etc. It's also fair to say that Peter is very likable, a very affable man. He was in agriculture, Minister of Agriculture. We had major problem in agriculture with Caribbean Agro, and many people felt that he would take on Caribbean Agro and resolve the issues that was there. So do something that was substantial for agriculture. Nothing happened in terms of that area. The farmers are still struggling in terms of the agreement between Caribbean Agro and the government of Grenada. A man who really stood out in terms of that challenge was Mr. Dabrio, who was in trade. But I think my kind of sharing that I want to share with the people in terms of my thoughts is, popularism. I think Peter Davids is very popular in the tongue of St. George. There's no doubt about that. He polls at about between 65 and 70% popularity. When you have that level of popularity in terms of your constituency, you're pretty safe, and you should be a pretty confident kind of person. But when I talk about popularism, I'm talking about something that happens all over the world. We have popular ideas and popular people, and there isn't often a correlation or connection between them and governing. A lot of people seem to kind of jump on the bandwagon when they see somebody who has a little bit of spark. And Peter has a little bit of spark. And there are many kind of elements, in terms of support to Peter. There are those who are a little bit resentful and think he's been treated badly. There are those who think, well, we can use Peter for our own ends. And there's probably the personal bit about Peter as well. Peter is allowed to have ambition, to strive for leadership, like all of us. And there's nothing wrong with that. He has a long history in politics in both parties. So I'm positive that his ultimate intention, is good. Whether it turns out to be good, it's left to be seen. But popular politics doesn't always make for good politics. Just as rush laws often results in poor law. There is a popular wave at the moment. And I think the presentation in terms of the rollout of the Democratic People Movement, I think it is, I think it was very professional. It's very well done. It captured a lot of people in terms of that. And Peter David has a history. And this is what, people have to be aware of. Give Jack its jacket. Peter David has a history of winning election. Peter David has a history of raising money. So Peter David should not be taken lightly at all in terms of going forward. The polls, he would have read the polls like lots of politicians, and he would have seen that, it's likely that there might be a coalition government next time around. And even though he might get 2 seats or 1 seat, that could wield a lot of power. But my kind of take is this. Peter has been in politics for 30, 40 years, whatever. What impact has he made in terms of the country? What can we expect in terms of the country moving forward? It's okay having nice, fluffy words that we're going to include everybody and we're going to do this and that. But you've been there for 30, 40 years. Where was that inclusion? Where was that development of people, the country? So I'm not sure if we're going to be getting anything new or we're just going to get a third party that will do more or less the same. But where I differ from most people is I think Peter has a right to run. We're a democratic country, and sometimes my view, sometimes the people don't always elect who's best for them, but that's democracy. It's messy.
Yes, man. I agree with you. And I'm an individual who believe that the people deserve the government they have. Mm-hmm. I have no sympathy for our people when they choose the government they choose. A man have a right to get the vote. Mm-hmm. If you select a government and the people jail you, the people right. You select this government. Mm-hmm. I don't take lightly to Maurice Bishop. Maurice Bishop was a criminal. He jailed over 3,000 Grenadians. When he overthrew the country, they didn't ask for permission to overthrow the country. He overthrew the country and he promised the people election. Because he claimed Gary was not having free election. Although, Maurice Bishop had a battery of lawyers, and they never challenged it in court. He lied with the people. He deceived the plantocracy, the remnants of the plantocracy. He used them, and he jailed them. Maurice Bishop used the Rastafarians. That is when I turn against Maurice Bishop, because I like Bishop too. He could speak good.
Yeah,
We had the issues of black power. We had the issues of African apartheid.
He was a great speaker, one of our best.
And by the time I reading Engel and all Marxist Leninism, and I consider myself as a pseudo-communist too. But I became very suspicious when Maurice Bishop was not encouraging the Rastafarians to go to school. Men and women was in the woods naked. They had their children in the woods. Men was letting the 13 and 15-year-old daughter married Rasta in the woods. And Maurice Bishop was aware of that. He never encouraged them to go to school. And that is where I turn against Maurice. You see, I'm always cognizant of the fact that a black man sold his children in slavery. And anytime you find a leader that is not encouraging education, you need to stay away from that leader. So that is where I part ways with Bishop. Now, Peter David, in this politics long, Peter David is not the child of a peasant. And that is why Peter and them had problem with Tillman Thomas. Because they say Tillman Thomas is a child of a peasant. So although they are the extremists and they are advocating the progressive and the leftist and Marxist communists, they still had problem with the child of a peasant leading. This is what caused the big rift in NDC. They couldn't stand Tillman. And Tillman had like a pig. When a pig crossing the road, he's not turning back. So don't believe you could control Tillman here. If Tillman says so he put in here, so he put in here. They're turning back.
Yeah.
And that is the challenge here.
Yeah.
But go back and examining Peter's life. And I feel it is absolutely necessary that you examine Peter's life. We made that mistake with Bishop. We taught Bishop the good. Bishop was a coward. He hid behind women and children all the time. Bishop never had a demonstration without calling women and children out. Eric Gary never had a demonstration where he bring women and children. When Eric Gary decided to clash with Bishop, he said the voluntary constabularies for the protection of human rights. Each one bring a friend and tell a friend to bring 3 friends. No women, no children. Maurice Bishop used to send the trucks in the schools to collect children because Maurice Bishop believed that Gary will never attack them because of the children. He hid behind children and women. He's not a hero. He's a criminal. And he's a coward. When the children liberated Maurice Bishop and his team refused to go in the market square to speak. They went on the foot. They rearmed themselves. And Maurice Bishop refused to tell the children, go home. He knew it was war. He knew it was bloodshed. Maurice Bishop evoked the Angola option. And since he evoked the Angola option, he knew he had to be bloodshed. But he used the children to protect himself. Even a wounded child was kept on the fort. The women was kept on the fort. Jacqueline Craft was pregnant. Maurice Bishop should have made a come out from the fort. He kept them there. They took the guns from the other side. They rearmed themselves. Vincent Noel said, we have a car with guns. We want 200 people to re-establish, to go with the car, to re-establish communication with the rest of the world. So the few soldiers in the car, surrounded by 200 children, about to. I didn't check. Vincent Noel said 200. By the time he said that, 200 come. To re-establish communication with the rest of the world. So the children was there to protect the gunmen. How you could use children? Maurice Bishop behaving just as what Hamas is doing in Israel. They're going in the bombshell. Because the protection, or what name you use it, and not a military man, is below the hospitals. And they leave the patients outside. Now, Peter David was aware, I demand. Let Peter David explain to his people the Angola option. Maurice Bishop evoked the Angola option. Ewart Lane and them didn't afraid. It wasn't principle that caused them to kill Bishop. You know. It was the Angola option. Ask Peter David why he feared the Angola option. So, those people who coming in front to campaign for Peter David, I'm encouraging you to ask them about the Angola option. Watch them in the eye when they're speaking to you. Don't let them lie. Look at Peter David. Peter David remained in the parties very quiet. All controversial issues in the party, Peter David backed out from it quick. All controversial issues. And we go listen. Now, Joshua, why would a popular man who people like stay away from all controversial issues?
Well, I think many reasons why they would do that. The answer obviously is within their head. They have it. But I mean, that is something that worries me a lot as well. When you see like a man who's wants to be the leader, heading to the top, has no kind of history of being involved in terms of controversial issue. I put that down to popularism. You want to be popular, you want to position yourself at the time where, you have that likability factor. Everybody have that because you have ambition. That is my take on it. But why he would do that, only he knows. I just speculate. What I worry about and what I hope for in terms of, this movement is this. I mean, we have a political system where we have people who are running for political party, and we really don't know them. We have people who are appointed in terms of senators, etc. And as we found out in terms of Beryl, when it came to actually, boots on the ground and hands on, there were very few people that could help Deacon in that situation. We had a history in terms of that's ongoing with Andy Williams. He's very popular in his constituency, but he has a history that's
His
questionable.
hand is sticky.
And that's my worry. All these people behind Peter, they need to be really scrutinized.
Let us go back now to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And Grenadians must understand. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, Grenada, it was implemented in Grenada under Kit Mitchell. Because of the traumatic situation that took place during the 4.5 years of the coup d'etat.
Yeah, the coup d'etat.
The coup d'etat. Remember, over 3,000 people was in jail. About 4,000 to 5,000 people flee Grenada to avoid heavy manners. That is the fastest time we solve unemployment problem in Grenada.
Yeah.
You jail 3,000 people, 5,000 run, automatically 8,000 people not looking for a job, Rastas racing back in the hills, and some people afraid to ask for a job.
Yeah.
No unemployment. The fastest unemployment solving Grenada.
Yeah.
No, so they introduced the Truth and Reconciliation Commission based upon the South African model. They say, well, so much a wrong thing going on in the country. If you try to seek justice, there is no end to it.
Yeah.
So call a big commission, put reputable people there. I think it was the Anglican bishop or somebody that was there. And let everybody come and tell their story. And then you pardon everybody and you move on.
Yeah.
Did Peter David go to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission? No, Peter David was no ordinary soldier, you know. He was Peter David. Peter David and them went and studied law. Nazim Buck went too.
Yeah.
Economist or what? Where he was a lawyer too.
Yeah, I think he had probably a double
These
degree.
individuals was senior individuals in the party. Did they accept? Let us make a new start. We kill people. We burn people's body. We cut out Bishop ring because we say, let we take out the ring because they're superstitious. They say trick with the ring, so cut out the ring. They take spade to pick up human body. When Jacqueline Creft pushed out her belly, oh God, I'm pregnant. That couldn't save Jacqueline Creft. Now, hunters in Grenada would tell you that sometimes when they corner a monkey, the monkey does show them the child. And some of them just let the monkey go. So now the monkey rubbing the belly and they're telling them they're pregnant. And some hunters just have compassion. When Jacqueline Creft showing the belly, they say, pregnant. No, they pump bullet on Jacqueline Creft. No, so Kit Mitchell say, let's stop. Let's have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Because Kit Mitchell too, at some stage, was sympathetic to the revolution. Because he take bail for some of them men who they say send gun. So in some ways, he was sympathetic to them. Did Peter David participate in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission? I'm raising this point. He who have ears to hear, let him hear. Peter David has never dealt with any serious controversial issue in Grenada. So I talk about the Angola option, now the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Let us go to COVID-19. COVID-19 was one of the biggest issues after World War II for all governments. I applauded the Caribbean government because they hide behind the reputable medical authorities. PAHO, World Health Organization, CAFA, and our doctors. Hide is a good word for me to use for politicians.
Yes.
They don't come up with the ideas. They say we obeying the reputable medical authorities in the world. If you have any issue, go to them. the World Health Organization, PAHO, CAFA, I believe, is the Caribbean representative of the authorities. And in Grenada, the medical doctors. Mr. Steele, I always admired. He and Otto Noel. Always believe NNP sent Otto Noel in the wrong department. She should have gone in education or agriculture, not tourism.
Yeah.
These people was on radio every day. When they decide to take the vaccine, did Peter David take vaccine publicly? I know he did because he traveled.
Yeah.
But he never showed it publicly. He hid. At that time, Kit Mitchell, the Governor General, the Speaker of the House, Peter David, not Peter David, the Speaker of the House, Mr. Steele, a number of the ministers took vaccine publicly to say to Grenadians, we're not asking you to take something we ain't taking. Even though they're afraid, they take it. We never see Peter David take it publicly. The trade union leaders, they never take it publicly, but they take it because they travel. St. George's University workers, the most militant workers, lost their job. So while these trade union leaders encourage workers not to take it, they took it. While Peter David indirectly encouraged people not to take it. Pamela Moses never take it publicly. But they take it because they travel. You see the hypocrisy in it. The NDC members were going out and encouraging people not to take the vaccine. While they took it, up to today, there's a caller on the line. You got to give us that call. We have a new technician this morning. Yes, caller, welcome. You got to bring it down up. Yes, caller. Yes, caller.
Mr. Pierre, this
Yes,
guy, man, this guy is a dishonest guy, you know. Peter David is a dishonest guy, man. I personally know guys. He took the money and he come down in Grenada in politics, man. And he don't have to do that, man. I don't think Peter David was financially. I mean, he was, you know. Anyway, what he did, and no, he don't handle things right, man. He's dishonest, and people like him.
They say where some people go in cussing, you can go pray.
He was dishonest guy. You looking at him, man. One of the brother died, and he had us to represent him while he was suffering with cancer on the pancreas, and it was a serious case. Accusation he was abusing his daughter. And when the judge realized what's going on his medical condition, and the lawyer don't show up, that's how we get off the case, you know. The most dishonest guy only looking at it. Anyhow, hold it down, man.
Yes, caller, thank you. I say, if you don't have information, you don't have. When I speak, I dare. So I'm saying to you that Peter David avoid all controversial issues on high. COVID-19. A number of these individuals took vaccines secretly. I mean, it's better you say, I don't have confidence in the vaccine, but because I have to travel, I'll take it. A politician had to make the position public. I took the vaccine. Me not a politician. I was on radio as a radio personality, and I felt compelled to tell people I take the vaccine. I take 3 shots. I don't want to take more. Because based upon my occupation, all the chicken you eating get vaccinated. And 14 diseases Grenada is able to manage because of vaccine. So I pointed out that to the people who I was speaking to. I admire Ray Roberts. You don't meddle with me again. My good partner. Ray publicly said to take the vaccine. And there's another gentleman in the NDC, I think he was Robinson, Roberts or Robinson, the one that in charge of the post office now.
Yeah.
He encouraged people to take vaccine. The other NDC hide. Peter David hide. I don't know if he took a picture when he taking it. I wouldn't surprise that Peter David took a picture just in case people challenge him after to say, I take it. But I did not see any picture of Peter David. I saw Emlyn Pierre, the Speaker of the House, Delma Thomas, and the Governor General. Pamela Moses did not take it publicly. Now let us continue. Do you believe, Joshua, if we have an issue like COVID-19, the biggest issue the world had after how you call that big disease, the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
And the reason they call it Spanish flu, because the first journalist to speak about it was from Spain. It's not that he was in Spain first, but the first journalist to report on it was from Spain. That is why they call it the Spanish flu. Joshua, you don't feel the Grenadian politician should make public their position here and nay in COVID-19?
I think certainly the government representative needs to make their position very clear, but I know a lot of people struggled with it. And again, I'm not sure whether or not you're trying to flush out something there, but the opposition, other politicians could probably waver, but the government ministers have to make it clear what the position. If the government is saying, well, it's something that we recommend, then all the ministers, need to make their position clear, because their position could only be, I stand behind our leader or government, and I'm taking it and take the picture.
My position is, I don't want to flush out anything. I'm saying Peter David hide under all controversial issues in Grenada. And COVID-19 was one of the biggest issues any political group had to face in Grenada. And I understand when they go to Kit and say, well, talk to Pamela now. Kit say, oh God, well, what do you want me to do again? What are going to do again? I'm begging them to take the vaccine. So the NNP hierarchy decide to take the vaccine. And they decide to take it publicly to lead from the front.
Yeah.
And Pamela Moses refused. And Peter David, a man like Peter, and he take the vaccine because he travel.
Yeah.
Now let us go to the referendum. We had a massive referendum. This one was to change some aspects of the Constitution. The NNP got 15 seats on 3 occasions. To change the Constitution, you must have 2/3 in the lower house. So if you don't have 2/3 in the lower house, it makes no sense attempting to change Constitution. The NNP did it on 2 occasions. I admire Kit Mitchell, because Kit Mitchell could have gone to Lawrence Joseph, but he went to Francis Alexis. Francis Alexis politically is no friend of Kit Mitchell. I want to repeat that. Francis Alexis politically is no friend of Kit Mitchell. Just as Richard Duncan is no political friend of Kit Mitchell. Ferguson, what is his first name again? Ferguson. Ruggles Ferguson is no friend of Kit Mitchell. Kit Mitchell went to Francis Alexis and Rogers Ferguson to champion the referendum. That means that Kit Mitchell genuinely chose them so he could sell the referendum to all and sundry. Francis Alexis stuck to the throat get dry. Rogers Ferguson tried best. I attended many sessions with these individuals. What was Peter David's position? What was Peter David's position? Peter David should be in the forefront of the attempt to amend the Constitution. Why? Peter David was part of the coup d'etat that suspended the Constitution. So if as part of an organization, you felt compelled to suspend the Constitution, now you have an opportunity to change the Constitution. Peter David remained silent. I'm pointing out, when every controversial issues in Grenada, Peter David remained silent. A very popular individual that people always feel that he could lead a party. But whenever Peter David in a political party, he hides whenever controversial issue comes up. Why? When Tillman Thomas reshuffled cabinet and decided to move Peter David refused. He is not a team player. He refused. Did he go back and lobby with he led the rebel team? When the NDC had the convention in Telescope, Peter David said he was not going to come to the convention. The NDC threw him up. Still, although he wasn't coming, they still threw him up. To tell you the bitterness and anger and hate among them. But Peter David, I understand, had agreed with the sister from Granance. She run in the south. She liked to plant flowers. Why she never again? She was a senator.
Okay.
Right. Somebody. He agreed with her. They form a political party. He didn't want it to look as if he was hungry for power, so he encouraged her to lead it, and he go take an after.
Okay.
And he abandoned her. And he abandoned her. The party come to naught because she never wanted to lead it. She only led the party.
That's not Glennis.
The Glennis Roberts. So you see, when I speak in a day, I just can't remember all name. So she didn't want to lead the party. But Peter David, they claim, say, he go look as if I'm hungry for power. I don't want it to look so. So you go lead, I go take on after. The party come to naught. Here we have an individual that leading up, start a movement. 30 years after while he in politics. He hid, he hide, he duck, he avoided all controversial issues. How you could be such a popular character with all this experience and you're in a political party and Peter David never give any political party 100% of his performance. He always back whenever controversial issues come. I will continue. The fiasco in Parliament. You had Emmeline Pay in Parliament. The Speaker of the House called for the presenter of the budget to close the budget. The Prime Minister was in the Parliament, but he was not. He was in the building, but not in the Parliament. I don't know if rain fell on the galvanized and he was recuperating, so he couldn't attend, but he was in the building. He did not attend the presentation. The presenter, very capable, Dennis Cornwall, long-standing public officer, very capable. He presented the budget. So the speaker called for him to close the budget because the Prime Minister was not there. And Kit Mitchell was supposed to speak. And after Kit Mitchell speak, then the person who closing the budget is supposed to close it. So Kit, a wise, smart old wolf, must he read the play and decide, I go make me political move. When the speaker gave the authority for the Dennis Cornwall to close the budget, he started to close it. And about 5 minutes or less or more, approximately 5, he was interrupted by the speaker. The speaker, which is unusual in Caribbean politics, called Dennis Cornwall to his office as how a judge does call lawyers and counsel him. Dennis Cornwall returned because he's a stubborn fellow and he decided to close the budget. The Speaker of the House had a caucus and they decided in the caucus that Dennis Cornwall must close the budget. He agreed. And when Dennis Cornwall returned to the table, the Speaker stopped him and let the Prime Minister come. Dick Mitchell, because the House to close it. Now that is a fiasco. The opposition objected, and rightly so, and walked out. The Prime Minister of Grenada, the parliamentary representative for St. David's, that is how he's supposed to be referred to in the House. Not Prime Minister. I believe the parliamentary representative. He had some very unsavory, demeaning, fractious remarks about the leader of the opposition. It was 100 years after women was franchised in Grenada. In the United States was 110 years. So women was franchised in Grenada before most of the Caribbean women. The speaker, the parliamentary representative for St. David, made some very unsavory remarks about the individuals. Referred to as mother hen and chicken, imitating Maurice Bishop, calling Eugenia Charles mother hen, and Tom Adams yard fowl, and Siaga fast its leader, and Ronald Reagan cowboy. Peter David, being the most senior in the House then, hide. Peter David had to get up and speak and ask for the parliamentary representative of St. David's to take back his statement. Peter David hide. Every controversial issue in Grenada, Peter David hide. Joshua. Peter David was selected as the farmers' representative. Now you have the most popular, one of the popular politicians, comfortably winning his seat. Although he afraid to go in St. George's South. So, Mr. Steele, what is his first name again? Mr. Steele left the town and go in the South for Peter David to run in the town. Now, the farmers' representative, Peter David, came as the Minister of Agriculture. What was his significant achievement?
Well, there was great hope in terms of Peter David being the Minister of Agriculture. But like so many things in life and in politics, nothing really of substance came from it. Few people were promoted in the ministry, and that was it really. There was no real kind of transformation or no landmark achievement. There was no like roadmap or strategic plan or anything in terms of agriculture, and everybody were very, very hopeful that Peter would be different. But as it turned out, I mean, it was just consistent. One minister come, and it's almost as though when the minister come, the minister becomes like a senior administrator, just doing what the department always do. And what agriculture needed more than anything else was vision and resources, because already agriculture was always kind of sliding back bit by bit. So with all the euphoria that came when Peter was coming to be the minister, it dissipated without anything really.
Peter David never helped agriculture. Peter David used his period to perhaps pump up his troops, but he never helped agriculture. Peter David did absolutely nothing spectacular in agriculture. He went on a fact-finding mission, traveling the length and breadth of agriculture and touching with his politicos, strengthening his position with his political activists. But Peter David never performed in agriculture. Nothing he never do. He didn't even behave bad like George Bizan and cut down Belvedere nutmeg. Absolutely nothing Peter did in agriculture except re-energize his troops, because he's a likable person. So nothing for livestock, nothing for rabbits. Peter David did not even revive some of the agricultural activity that was already existing. Nothing he did. I am absolutely certain that when Peter David was moving around, individuals would have said to him some of the things that existed that need attention. Peter David had absolutely no intention of strengthening nothing. He took a ride on a cause. Yeah. What did Kennedy Boudlal say? They like snake in the grass, waiting on third slip. Nazim said, this is not my opportunity. This is not my chance. Everybody had a time. Then not my time. So they never contributed to significantly help the party they did. They behave like a public officer that do enough work so you cannot fire. Let me repeat that. You might have an employee with you. Very popular employee. Never reach to work late. Never leave early. Always write a report. And his policy is never challenge the boss. If the boss going wrong, I'm going right where the boss going. Peter David did nothing, and I dare you. And I challenge you when I speak, I dare. Absolutely nothing. A well-informed individual that was in the revolution, the great revolution they like to talk about. And when they speak about the great revolution, they quote agriculture, particularly if you don't know. Peter David was in NDC. Peter David was in foreign ministry. Maybe Keith felt he spent so much time out of Grenada. Let me give him a chance. He put him in agriculture. Peter David did absolutely nothing but re-establish contact with his troops on the ground, waiting for when the ball come in third slip. When you make a mistake, or like a snake in the grass, waiting for the chance. Now, Peter David leave the movement. He leading the movement. Peter David is not the leader of the movement. Peter David is a Trojan horse. He is a front. He is the face of the movement. He is the most palatable individual at this time to be presented to Grenadians. Just as Maurice Bishop. They say Maurice Bishop he was charismatic. People like him. He was a people's man. The Central Committee saw Maurice Bishop as a lazy individual, a petty bourgeois, a coward, and a womanizer. They say he's trying to imitate Castro with one-manism. And Castro pledged to protect Bishop. So although Bishop said in the Central Committee, he agrees with joint leadership, Castro tell him no. Bishop was a criminal, and he was a coward, and he had no respect for women. He used women and children. But Grenada don't obey logics. So they take a criminal, and they say he's a hero. Today, I say to you, the Democratic People's Movement is leading the extreme in this country. They're leading the extremists, and we have extremists.
But the other thing, Mr. Pierre, we don't know who the Democratic People Movement is. We know Peter David. Who's the rest? They might have kind of blurted out some names or whatever. But my worry is that we've had over 50 years of people wanting to lead the country. And then when you look back at their records, it's not very, very good. And recent history worries me. Like I started talking about Beryl. When the crisis came, it looked like there was nobody who had the experience or the know-how to really combat Beryl. So it looks as though the government was always a step behind what should be done. And, once again, all these people, I think, would have kind of joined the Democratic People Movement because they see Peter as very charismatic and they see him as potentially winning some seats. So if they stack up behind him, they may well get a food, and that's how I've seen it going. We join you so we can get some food. They're not joining political parties and movement to make the country better because there's no evidence of it.
The communists, the progressives, the atheists, the pro-Hamas, and those who are the remnant of the petty bourgeoisie. An extreme group with absolutely, a color? No. 1 minute more. And a progressive group with absolutely no loyalty for this country. And I say, beware. The Democratic Movement is leading the extremists in Grenada. They're going to want to close down radio station. They're going to fire people. They're going to search and they're going to shut up a lot of Grenadians. Few people could come on radio and speak like me because I mash up my closet door. And I say to my siblings and children, this is a battle. This is a war. It makes no sense trying to save you. They will kill you tomorrow. You are may as well prepare. The communists, the progressive, the atheists is in collaboration with the Islam extreme. Now they don't like one another, but they're collaborating. Always remember, we provoke discussion. When I speak, I dare. And I challenge those. Why Peter David heights under all controversial issues. Share we program, subscribe, give us a chance to grow. Even if you don't like us, you never could tell. You might like us tomorrow.
We fear none, we back down. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the land. God, we freedom, jealous and they in Cuba. Russians and Chinese and lucky like we. The Rhine and North Korea.